Hey everyone, Alex here. I'm someone who's suffered with a lot of fear in life. Generalized anxiety, panic attacks about career, money, relationships and my health. And I lived in an almost constant background fear that regularly burst into full-on panic attacks with my heart pounding, bucket loads of adrenaline pumping around my body, making it feel like I'm being electrocuted at the same time as thinking that I'm going to lose my mind. And so I did a lot of research into how to overcome fear, and most of the advice I was coming across just didn't seem to cut it. Whether it was do some deep breathing, do something to distract yourself, go for a run, remind yourself that everything's going to be okay, tell yourself you're safe, cut out caffeine, write down some things that you're grateful for. Most of these things to me either seemed ridiculous or like, okay, they might help a little bit, but they're barely making a dent. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a shot glass. They're not a permanent solution. There must be something more to this. There must be something deeper. So I dug deeper and deeper until I found the things that actually helped me start to release those fears, and something else that gave me access to a peace underneath the fear that we can all instantly access, even if the sensations of fear and fearful thoughts are present. And so this is what I'm going to share with you in this video. Now, there are many ways to release fear, too many to go into in one video. But I'm going to talk about the two main components which, once you understand, will give you the foundation for releasing all of your fears. So the first is recognizing that you are this awareness and not the character in your thinking. Now, what do I mean by that? Imagine right now that you couldn't think. You couldn't refer to the past or the future. You couldn't think of them. What would you be left with? Okay, you might still be left with some seriously intense fear-related sensations in the body, but you wouldn't have any thoughts about it, right? Now, I'm not saying it's as easy as just stop thinking, or that you even can. What I'm illustrating is a major component of what constitutes this fear, a major component of what's fueling it, is in the thinking. Now you might say, but my thinking is legitimate. I have bills to pay, which I'm probably not going to be able to, or she might actually leave me. This disease might get worse and I'll suffer terribly. Okay, sure. But let's ask a few questions about that. Is it true? Can you know for absolute certain that it's true? And how many thoughts have you had that turned out not to be true? How do you know that all this thinking and fearing is at all productive? How long have you spent worrying about a challenge versus actually dealing with the challenge? How can you be certain that you know what's absolutely best for you? How can you know that what you fundamentally are at the core of your being isn't already fundamentally safe? Because here's the thing, you don't need to try to stop thinking. You must see clearly that you're not the character, the sense of self in your thinking. Let me ask you a question. You are aware, correct? When I ask you, are you aware? There's something that it's like to check that, right? You become knowingly aware that you're aware. And so you're aware, and then you have thoughts that you're aware of. Imagine you had a thought right now, something terrible could happen to me. You have yourself, and then you have a thought that's apparently about yourself. There's the thought, the story, something terrible could happen to me, and you say, that's me in the thought, that's me in the story. But hang on a second. Haven't we established that you're the one who's aware of the thought? Now there's apparently two of you. The one who's aware and the character, the me, in the thought. But how can there be two of you? You see, the only legitimacy that character in the thoughts is really you is your belief in it. And when you constantly believe that you are the character in the story in your mind, which something terrible might happen to, it fuels all kinds of fear in the body to a level that makes you incapable of dealing with whatever might be a challenge anyway. So, how do you break the belief in the thoughts? Instead of trying to stop the thoughts, be knowingly awareness. Be knowingly the awareness that the thoughts appear within. Be knowingly your true self, instead of constantly believing that you're the character in the mind-made sense of self. Thoughts appear and disappear within this space of awareness, right? Thoughts appear and disappear within you, right? But between two thoughts, you don't go anywhere with the thoughts. You're still here, still 100% you, so be knowingly you. But there's also a second element. Because perhaps deep down there's an understanding now that you're not ultimately the character in the thinking, and a knowing of yourself as awareness. But perhaps the fear is persistent and keeps coming back. Perhaps even if there's no thinking, there's still persistent fear-related sensations in the body, manifesting as feelings of tension, jitteriness, nervousness, raised heart rate, sweating, adrenaline sensations, or uncomfortable energetic sensations. And as long as these sensations are present, firstly, they're not very comfortable to begin with, and secondly, it's like the fear-based thoughts keep coming back from the subconscious, and they seem incredibly challenging not to identify with because there's so much fear and discomfort felt in the body. It's like it makes the thoughts scream, "No, I am real, I am legitimate, listen to me, I'm really important." And so, the second component is about calming and releasing the stuck emotional energy from the body. And there are many ways to do this, but I'm going to get into the foundation for this. A great place to start is to practice not deep breathing, but slow breathing. Slowing down the breath has the effect of activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response, the body's calming system. And the body will only release stuck emotional energy when it knows it's safe to do so, because otherwise it thinks it needs that energy to escape danger. So, slow breathing, along with other science-based tools, can be a great way of beginning to initiate that feeling of safety in the body. The second step is to be knowingly aware with the bodily sensations. We can spend most of our time listening to that voice in our head instead of actually being with and feeling the sensations in our body. We often allow our attention to be completely consumed by thinking to escape what we're really feeling. We don't want to feel the feelings. But what if we did the counterintuitive move? What if not only we felt our feelings, but actually welcomed them? You see, it's not often the fear that's the problem. It's the fear of the fear. And so, what if you dropped all of that resistance, creating all those extra layers of tension, and breathed and welcomed the feelings and allowed them to be there in this space of awareness that you are? Now, it is the case that these fears can often be running subconsciously, and so to fully release many fears, you might have to do certain things to bring that stuck emotional energy fully to the surface where it can be released, often with shaking or crying. In fact, believe it or not, crying is a massive secret when it comes to releasing fear. Just think of how relaxed you feel after a good cry. it's releasing the pain and fear of attachment. Because these fears are so often born out of attachment. Attachment to getting something or achieving something. Attachment to people or things. Attachment to things being a certain way. And those attachments are what keep you from effectively achieving your goals and keeping your success sustainable and keeping your relationship sustainable anyway, because all that fear keeps pushing them away. And so you must grieve the pain of the attachments. And sometimes you got to do some things to really get into that stuck emotional energy. You might have to cry it out. And when you do, you can relax. And some of the things that connect to the emotional energy include things like journaling, shadow work journaling, talking with a therapist or a coach, walking towards what you're fearful of and purposely triggering the fear, and doing various kinds of emotional or trauma work. It depends on what's right for you. And all of this can be done in the light of awareness. When you know yourself as this awareness, this is the perfect foundation for everything else you might do that is essentially aligning your thinking and feeling with who you really are. Because that's, shall we say, the ultimate element to this. Not only being knowingly awareness, being knowingly your true self, but revealing the qualities of awareness and having them shine in your feelings and in the mind. And that's about investigating the nature of awareness, seeing clearly that who you truly are has never been disturbed by anything that's appeared within you. Even the most intense fear-based feelings, even the most intense fear-based thoughts have never harmed this wide open spaciousness that you are. And so that concludes the video. Just to announce, a few more slots have opened up for the free one-to-one with me or one of my team to see if you'd be a good fit for the Awaken Aware program, which is a science and non-duality informed program to help you overcome negative thinking, fear, and anxiety. It's for you if you're open to a holistic approach to embody peace and inner freedom, and it's for you if you're interested in living more of the truth of who you really are and you want to release old fears and stabilize in a deeper inner peace so you can have more of a profound positive impact on those around you and the wider world. If that interests you, head over to speaktoalex.com, where there'll be a quick quiz to fill in, and then you can select a time to have a quick chat with me or one of my team about solving your challenges. These calls and the enrollment are limited, so if that interests you, again, it's speaktoalex.com. I hope this video helped. See you in the next one. Peace and blessings. Love you all. Peace.